Okay, did not see that one coming. I thought for sure that person was a female. No, turns out it's just an extremely unattractive, over the top, campy guy that, well, technically I shouldn't criticize long hair, after all, I have it too. But turns out that the one that had a very long chef's hat that I thought for sure was female, in the end was a guy. Um, and an extremely ugly one, a second year by the name of Julio, who, by the way, looks remarkably similar to that one-shot character that was originally Erina's secretary. However, for the first time in a while, we're moving away a little bit from Soma and into the skills of Satoichi, which I like. Yes, this is the Shokugeki no Soma, chapter 209. And let me tell you, I think we have gotten even more clues on what this regimental cuisine is about and about the central is. Either way, the chapter is, of course, that Satoichi is not taking his duel too passionate, although Megishima is wondering why he's so laid back. Until the guy who I up until now really didn't think was a guy screamed that fact that over the top that this is cuisine of art. He seems to pride himself as being an artist, because it turns out that the guy's name is Julio, and yes, he is extremely ugly. But of course, Satoichi do not know a single bit on who he is. Which, by the way, is not a surprise. I mean, who the hell was he? It turns out that they're gonna cook is eel, an eel dish. It's Satoichi Shinki versus Shiratatsu Julio. And the cover page is, by the way, Satoichi introducing many different places like the Cape Sukoton, the Cape Sukai, Lake Kushu, Mount Ribun, Port Kafuka, and Peach Rock. Many different things. I'm afraid I cannot name up what they are. Of course, Julio is not so very pleased with the fact that Satoichi do not know who he is, but I repeat what I just said. Who the hell did know about him until now? Of course, the Elite 10 are both concerned and unconcerned about this, as Satoichi and Rindo, well, flirt, so to speak. The fact that Satoichi complimented Rindo with her hair tied up and she likes it. It is also revealed she's still wearing a sweater underneath her cooking outfit. She seems to have a very odd fascination for sweaters, given to the fact that she cannot stand the cold. I wonder if it's connected to that. Either way, as much as I still do not trust Rindo, I have to admit, her tied up and in their cooking outfits and many things more, yeah, even I have to admit that Rindo looks adorable. Of course, Julio seems to have known about Satoichi for a very long time, and he is actually well known, his family name. It turns out that he is an Italian cooking person, and he comes from a household called the Shiratsu, that apparently been cooking for famous people for generations. That predecessor was even gotten knighthood. And this seems to once again has answered the question on what the central Elite 10 is all about. Now I'm even more convinced that all the Elite 10 come from prestigious families. Of course, Hayama did not come from a prestigious family. He was only getting there because Asami wanted his gift. But I'm still thinking that first Nene, and now Julio, and it's even confirmed in this chapter that Satoichi himself does indeed come from a prestige family. So yeah, maybe the Elite 10 actually did consider of very famous people, which might explain why Asami wanted on their side to begin with. After all, an arrogant man like that only wants prestigious names. And so they are cooking eel, which as Isami reveals is apparently a dish that is also very common in Europe. Which, I'm sorry that I double said the words right here, but here, the first thing I was gonna say is that I think this is once again answering the fear is that yes, the every single elite 10 may be a prestigious family. I mean, I have a hard time seeing Izan coming from a prestigious family, but then again, he is intelligent, and I don't think you can be that intelligent if you not have something in your back pocket besides a clever wit. Of course, he could have just been a self-made man, which might explain why he's even more arrogant than others. That's the first thing I wanted to confirm. The second thing is here, while it is confirmed to not be while it's confirmed that it may not be Julio's speciality, Isami makes a complete, not a complete deal, but makes a note that eel is not exclusively a Japanese dish. It is a dish that actually is very big in Europe. So what I'm saying is, Soma drew soba noodles, which was Nene's specialty, and Satoichi drew eel, which is associated with Europe, and Julio is an Italian chef. Am I the only one who is beginning to think that is this a coincidence? I mean, once can be, twice maybe. Again, this is not his specialty, but since it's very associated with what type of cook he is, I'm beginning to think that there might be a possibility that every single rebel is going to draw something which the other one specializes in, or is closely associated with, at least. Just to, I think it's great. So yeah, and as the guys talk about who Satoichi is, although they do say him with things Alice can understand. Kurokiba reveals that making eel is actually a very lifetime effect, and Satoichi is still taking this very lightly. So Julio begins to scream at him, saying that why do you disrespect and why do you even make a mockery of your name? And he then says to Kino Kuno to say something too. There has been some notes that, Nene have been looking at Satoichi almost like she knows him. And it's here that Julio reveals that Satoichi does indeed come from a family, the Inshinki family, which is apparently a prestigious family. So, is it a possibility that Nene and Satoichi have known each other even before they entered Totsuki? According to Julio, uh, Satoichi is a dropout from his clan, someone who degraded the name. Not exactly known what that means. Is that meant to imply that he has been uh, disowned by the Ishinki family? Or is that meant he was meant to drop out something else? I mean, Satoichi is a man who is a little bit difficult to read, but unlike Rindo and many others, it seems that Satoichi is genuinely kind and extremely encouraging to people. It's just that he's a little bit cunning and he smiles all the time. So sometimes it's difficult to understand his past. Is it a possibility, though, that, as Julio pointed out, he skips class, he works in his farm, and does many things more? He doesn't do many things that considers clan uphold tradition. But for me, Satoichi doesn't look like a guy. He doesn't look like a guy who cares for big names. I mean, he has said it himself. As long as he has his farm, he is completely satisfied. So, is it a possibility that he was disowned by his family because, well, he got into Totsuki, but at the same time, he's not working too hard? Either way, Satoichi just takes that with a laugh until Julio begins to mock the Polar Star dorm, calling it worthless, and is saying that someone who is a son of an esteemed Ishinki household should not be associated with that. And at long last, Satoichi turns his face, while still smiling, has that tranquil fury is amazing, takes the eel and shows an amazing cutting techniques that Kurokiba just simply drops its jaw. Well, he doesn't drop his jaw, but he just says he cut the blood vessels in a moment without even realizing it. And so Soma, of course, has the realization, and according to his face, he's pretty miserable about it too, that Satoichi did indeed hold back during their little cook off back then. So Satoichi finally puts up his knife, shows his tranquil fury face, and saying that you can insult me, but you cannot insult my fellow residents. So I'm going to crush you. Oh, oh, that was so awesome! That was so awesome! I like that one. But now we've been introduced to, at long last, one of the unnamed. Now it's just one left. And what, are you gonna surprise us by telling us that is a girl? Given the body, no, I don't think that's a girl. Of course, I was wrong about this one, I could be wrong about that one. Who cares? But yeah, esteemed families. If everybody of the Elite 10 is of esteemed families, then it makes sense on why Asami wants them even more. And it also makes sense on why crushing them right here now. We got some insight about Ishinki's past. Clearly, he did not care about his name. But at the same time, I wonder, is he disowned or is he considered a black sheep? Who knows? But now you have shown the arrogant side of him again. I mean, an arrogant side that I hate about people. So what I'm trying to say is, Satoichi, you better not become father. I know not all of the rebels are gonna win, but with an argument like that, don't you dare lose. So now it's only Megishima left and that final guy. Are we gonna get a little glimpse on them next chapter? I hope. Can we finally get some information about Megishima? I'm beginning to want to know who that guy is. All in all, just a suspenseful chapter, and I liked Satoichi's character. But for me, it was Tuesday, and someone who is completely laid back, liking it very much. And that final picture, and he cutting off the eel. Damn. But yeah, you have to argue with me. Is it possibility that this Shokugeki is rigged in the Elite 10's cooking favor? I'm just saying, it begins to look that way. Give me your thoughts if you have any.